Welcome to a slow, in-depth video of how to prep your nail for press-on nails with either glue or sticky tabs. So today we will be using my husband's nail. So as you can see here, it is ready for the cleaning, I guess you could say. What I would say before you start prepping your nails and buffing them is making sure to lay out all your nails, ensuring they fit nice and snug on the nail without any pressure, and then having them ready in place so when you do glue or sticky tab them on, they're exactly where you need them to be. So this will be, as I said, a very slow video where we'll go through in little chapters of how to prepare your nail. The first thing I like to do is get cuticle oil, hand cream, whatever you have, and just soften up the dead skin and cuticle around your finger. We're just going over the cuticle area here, letting it soak in. Typically, I like to prepare my nails the night before, so they have at least 2 hours of being dry before getting wet. Reese has just had a shower here, so it has helped soften up the cuticles as well. Now in this video, it was a little bit awkward the angle that we were filming in, so if the stick looks a little bit funny when I'm doing it, that's why. With the cuticle pusher, we will be using this flat end. As you can see, we're going to go in an upwards to the finger area. We'll push it up. When we push, we want to make sure that we don't push down into the nail. As you can see, I'm angling in. We want to sort of be pushing back and upwards to lift that cuticle off the nail instead of tucking the dead skin underneath. Sometimes if you tuck the dead skin underneath the nail, it can lead to more problems down the line. So you want to make sure it's nice and clean. So for this, we're just going back and up, nice and gently. We never want to have any pain when pushing the cuticles up. If it's going onto the nail here, that is what we're trying to move away. So it shouldn't have any intense pressure or pain. You may just sort of feel it moving off your nail. So I'm just slowly going to do that. I am going to try and minimize the cuts in this video, so you can slowly work along with me as I do this. We want to be very careful not to push down these side walls and remove too much skin away from them. This can cause more damage to the side walls and lifting. Sometimes it can feel a little bit stuck. If you have it at home, you can use a cuticle softener. I don't personally use one, just because I have the tools with my drill to help prep my own nails at home. But you can buy cuticle softener at the shops or online, and it helps sort of soften and lift as well when you're doing it. You don't necessarily need it, but that is an option if you do seem to have particularly sticky cuticles. We're making sure that we don't go too hard when pushing these cuticles up as well. A lot of people have the tendency, myself when I started as well, was you get a little bit trigger happy, I guess you could say, and you really go hard on pushing the cuticles up and away, but this can cause more damage in the long run, so we want to try and avoid that where we can. The reason that we move the cuticles up a little bit is so that the nail will sit flush. If we have cuticle under the nail, sometimes water can get trapped underneath, or it can lead to premature popping off. That's why we're just sort of pushing it up off the nail plate, so that when we can put that nail down, it's nice and clean. Now, you may wonder, why did we make our fingers oily if we want to have clean nails before applying the press-ons? That's just because it helps soften those cuticles up and gives us a little bit of an easier time to move them. We will be using alcohol wipes to remove the oil thoroughly. Here we're just having a look. We're talking about cutting the cuticles if there's any dry area. As you can see on this finger, there is a little bit of white skin there. That is the dead skin that we can clip. Now, if you are anxious or unsure about clipping cuticles, I would suggest avoiding it. If you're not careful, you can cause a lot of infection and harm to your fingers, so just gently pushing up or buffing away with a soft buffer is what we're going to do. As you can see here, Reese has got a lot of nail that comes off his nail bed. When we have press-ons, we want to have the extra length of nail, maybe 1 to 2 millimeters off where the nail is connected to the nail bed. Any longer can cause issues like snagging or staying attached to the press-on when trying to remove. Cutting it any shorter than that can cause harm and more chance of it lifting up on the nail bed and causing more damage in the long run. And what we're going to do here is just cut off that extra length. With a nail file, we are going to just file it from left to right or right to left to smooth off the angle, making sure that we don't hit those sidewalls too much. Next, we're going to use our buffer. Unfortunately, I couldn't find one that comes with the kits, so I'm just using a bigger one here. And we're going to buff in one direction. Typically, I go left to right or right to left. We just want to make sure that we don't go back and forth. If we do go back and forth, what we're doing is filing down the layers of nail. Now, there's only so many layers of nail, so the more that you buff down, the more chance that you're going to cause thin, more fragile nails. And that's why a lot of the times when people in the past have told me they have very thin filed nails, it's because someone may have gone a little bit too hard with the nail file, and when they remove the nail tip, they shove a tip at the end and pop it off, which will cause more nail to rip off if they do not soak. Now, if you do not want to get oil on your nail buffer, what you can do here is now use the alcohol wipe to thoroughly clean the nail. You can see I really go in here and make sure to really push into those cuticles, get right around the nail, underneath the nail. We want to make sure it is nice and clean and dry. This will also help ensure that there's no dirt or debris on the nail before putting the glue on. Now, like previously mentioned, if you can, try and do this in the evening. I like to pop on a good TV show and just slowly put on my nails and enjoy the experience. Today we won't be gluing any nails onto Reese's nail, so we won't be over buffing it, but I will still show you as much as I can. As you can see here, we're just talking about how the cuticle has got a little bit that I could nip and clean up in the future. So what we're waiting for is the alcohol wipe to dry as much as possible. We don't want to rush through steps or anything. So we are going to be buffing, like I said, left to right or right to left. I'm buffing towards myself in this video with the angle I'm at. We don't need to go too intensely. What we're looking for here is, as you can see, the nail is now getting rough. It is drying out, going a little bit white. There's a little bit of surface of some of the layers of nail coming up. This will help increase the grip of the nail to the press-on. I do like using the little nail files that come with the kit. I didn't have one on hand, so I am just looking for one in one of my drawers. And we're going to go up into the cuticle. Now, this is my personal nail file. That is why it is used. And we are going to gently just get up into that cuticle area. And once again, going left to right in the curvature at the top of the nail, just to rough it up a little bit more. Like a lot of things with your nails, we want to make sure that we don't go a little bit too overexcited with buffing the nail, because we don't want to cut down too many layers. I do think doing your own nails is easier because you can move the nail around to be more comfortable for the position that you want it to be in. Whereas in this filming situation, we are both trying to lean over my desk to make sure we get in the right light and angle. I typically prep all my nails at the same time because I'm gluing on the nails or sticking on the nails at the same time, instead of doing it one nail at a time. We're just comparing it here. You can see that shininess of the other nail to the matteness now of the buffed down. Now, I'm just having a look to see if there's any spots that I think may need a little bit extra, because we want to ensure that there is no shine. I like to reuse the alcohol wipe to make sure that there is no dirt and debris left, and let it completely dry. As you can see here, as it dries, it goes lighter again, and that shows that you've done the correct prep for your nail. Depending on how long you want the nail on is how much prep you want to do. If you want it on for, like I usually have, which is 2 to 3 weeks, I will buff it to this point, maybe a little bit more. If you're wanting it on for, say, a night, you're going to use the sticky tabs, or you're going to not buff it at all with the glue. If it is a smooth surface, the glue has a harder time adhering to it. I will say with the sticky tabs, we do have to remember that they are using for an event or a day. They are not made for using with hard labor. We should not be using our nails as tools, but I know some people like to do it, so we just have to be prepared. And that's it. That's the basic prepping of your nail for a press-on. Now, if I have prepped our nail in the video beforehand, we are going to look at about how putting a sticky tab in. What we want to do is go through and make sure that we have done the prep method to make sure it is secured on as much as possible. We want to then find our sticky tabs and find the ones that fit best over the nail. The closer that the sticky tabs fit sidewall to sidewall, the better adhesion we'll have of the nail. As I mentioned previously, Reese has got a little bit extra length than I would prefer on his nail, so if we were putting it on, we would be clipping them a little shorter. But this sticky tab looks like it fits perfectly, so we'll be using that for this finger. What we will do is remove the protective tabs. What we'll do is remove the protective tabs off the sticky tab sheets, and then we will get our tab. Now, this sometimes can be a situation where you may want to ask for the help of someone else, or you can do it yourself. When doing it either way, I always suggest going pinky first, working on both pinkies, then rings, then middle, and going up. This can be a little bit tricky for myself with the angle that it was, so please bear with me. But we're pressing down firmly, ensuring that it's covering that whole nail. Now that it's stuck down firmly, flat and ready, we will be getting a hairdryer and blowing it as hot as possible. If you have a second person helping, ask them to help gently remove that sticky tab before blow drying, but you can leave it on if it doesn't want to come off neatly. Once you have removed the sticky tab protector, this little protector tab here, we do not want to touch the sticky part until the nail is going on. So I'm going to blast this finger with hot air between 10 and 20 seconds until you can feel the finger getting a little bit hot. We want to ensure that we're not burning ourselves, so stopping before it gets too hot. And then we are going to get our press-on nail. And as I'm going to show here, we're going to start at an angle. A lot of videos will tell you 45 degrees, and that's just something we don't have to be super precise about. But we do want to start at a diagonal, purely because we're going to push on, scooch back a little bit, and put down nice and flat. Sometimes you can trap in air there if you don't go in at a diagonal, so that's why they're asking for you to put it at that 45 degrees. So once again, we're going to push on, slide back a little, and press nice and flat. on, press back, slide nice and flat. Now at this point, with it stuck on, the nail has made connection to the sticky tab. I'm going to get a hairdryer and blast it again so it's nice and hot. Then change it to the cool settings and blast it cool. There you have it, your nail is on. Now as you can see, for this nail, it isn't sized to his finger correctly, so we do have a little bit of overhang. So this is something that we want to ensure we check out before we put our nails on. I'm just going to turn the nail to the side so you can see here. The reason that we want to put it on at the diagonal and push back is it fits nice and flush to the cuticle. That's our beautiful nail stuck on with a sticky tab. Now for the removal process, we can gently pop these nails off like I did with the one just then. If you feel like they're a little bit more stuck on or don't feel comfortable with that, you can get some hot water. My recipe is hot water, a little bit of detergent, maybe 1 or 2 drops, and then cuticle oil on your hands. So we're going to oil up our fingernails, make that hot water with the dishwashing liquid and soak the nails in. It shouldn't take long till they'll pop off and you can gently scrape the excess glue off. Now if we're using the method for nail glue, we're going to prep our nail the exact same, making sure it's nice and dry. There's a few different ways of doing it. This is the way I personally like to do it. We apply a glue along the base of the nail, up the side here, leaving a couple of millimeters on the sides of the nail, and going up and leaving a thin layer at the top as well, sort of located in the center of the nail, not being too close to the cuticle. I also like to put a small dab of glue on the nail here. The trickiest part about nail glue method is we have to find out the right amount of glue for each person. It isn't a one size fit all, which is why we always like to keep our alcohol wipes handy near us. If it does squeeze out the side when it's wet, you can just gently wipe it away. Alright, but once we have that nail glue on the bed, I'm just going to twist the finger here a little bit to try and show you a better angle. We're going to have the fingernail wet with glue, have that little dot of glue, and gently swipe over the whole nail to ensure that it is evenly coated. Then, just like the sticky tab method, we are going to go in at an angle, put down, push back a little bit to just get it lined up into that cuticle area, then lay it flat and hold it. Now it's very important here that we're not squeezing for dear life with our fingers. As you can see, if I squeeze, it does go over the finger and it will cause some pain and discomfort, and typically with a nail to pop off earlier or possibly get stuck to the skin and cause damage. When we want to put pressure on, and I know this is a little bit obscure, but the pressure we want to use is almost if we're peeling the skin off an apple with a knife. A nice, constant, even pressure. You can feel that you're pushing down on that nail, but not crushing it. Each nail I like to leave for 10 to 15 seconds, and then you'll feel that the nail is secure on. Once again, if we're wanting to remove our press-on nails, what we'll do is we'll cuticle oil all around the nail, making sure to go underneath and getting in as much as possible. Beforehand, if we can, having a shower and washing our hair to make sure that our nails are getting nice and soft and supple. And then jumping out of the shower, putting cuticle oil on and making our hot water liquid, which is the hot water with a couple of drops of dishwashing liquid, and letting it soak for about 15 to 20 minutes. It should pop off nice and easy. If you feel like there is any pain or intense pressure when trying to remove the nail, that means that you've gone too hard and you need to re-soak and try again. I do like to use this pointy end of the stick to gently get under there to try and create an even pressure throughout the nail. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them down below in the comments or shoot me a message. Have a lovely day, guys.